Yeah.
What? What'd you say?
We're ready to roll.
Welcome to Bass Live, guys. We are live from Texas. We just wrapped up our Bass University in Athens, Texas, second year in a row. What a great event. Just blew the doors off the place. The speakers and the instruction that went down. We're going to dive into that a little bit today. And it was, man, there was some pretty good stuff going this weekend.
Yeah, there really was. It was a lineup full of heavy hitters in every way imaginable. And we had a great turnout. It was so awesome to see that many people show up there that just want to learn more about bass fishing. And I think we delivered them a great lineup. And, you know, there were some moments that I'm excited to talk about from this weekend show as well.
Yeah, if you were there, chime in. I know Dan Allen was there. I'm sure you're watching, Dan. It's great to see you face to face. And we had great speakers. There's what I call the blow your hair back moments. We're going to be talking about those. But we also had a couple other things going on that are really big this weekend. I don't know what it is, but every single time we come to Texas, share lunkers are caught.
Yes, they are.
And
they are two.
This year's no different. Yesterday, two share lunkers, a 13-pounder and a 14-pounder were caught. Look at those guys. Unbelievable. So we're going to have Natalie on, who runs the Share Lunker program for Texas, and she picked those fish up. We got to tell you the story. A lot of you guys may not know how this goes down, how they actually get those fish, they collect them and bring them back to the facility and spawn them. It's a process, man. It's like, I don't know, it's like a house on fire. Everything stops. You know, they get the emergency trucks ready. They drive across the country or across the state to get these fish. It's pretty awesome.
Sirens go off and they activate. These big bass alarms ring through the state of Texas like tornado alarms do in Alabama. But they're running down to get 13 and 14 pounders, no matter if it's 5 hours or 6 hours or 7 hours. They are activating the lunker bunker truck, and they are boots on the ground, hitting the road to go pick these things up and keep spawning these big giant Texas bass. So it's a really cool program what the TPWD does, and everybody over at the Freshwater Fisheries Center that was so accommodating to us this past weekend. We appreciate all that.
It's amazing because 5 hours, like a lot of places that you guys live, we do too. 5 hours, you can drive across my state twice in 5 hours. 5 hours only gets you halfway across Texas, especially South Texas, down in Amistad and Falcon, and they make runs down there too. Anyway, we're going to be talking about those giant bass that were caught just yesterday and others, and also the fishing trip that we had. We do our Bass University meetup, and every year we get blasted by the weather, and this year was no different. Of course, it was better, honestly. Last year we had ice. This year it was just cold rain.
Yeah, this year was just cold rain, a little bit more fishable conditions, and man, I'm not going to wait to bring this in the show. I'm going to cue it up now. Jocelyn, our very own Jocelyn, rung the bell with her first largemouth bass, about a 3-pounder. Let's hear it. If you're watching live, that
there it is.
Grinded through the bad conditions. So, Joss.
Yep. She pirated Mike Iaconelli's rain suit to get through the day.
Team Toyota.
Yep. Team Toyota.
Official.
Yep. But we're gonna let her tell the story, and that was really fun. And we had a good time. We fished with some great folks that braved the conditions with us, and we'll show you some pictures from that event and all that good stuff. So it's going to be a fun show. Hang in there with us. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to be right back. We're going to be talking about some pretty powerful tutorials and training things that I learned and all of us did at Bass University this past weekend and the previous weekend in Anderson, South Carolina. So we'll be right back after this.
The leader in underwater viewing technology. Find what you are looking for. Catch more fish. Have more fun. AquaView. Seeing is believing.
Why do you love casting fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA.
Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick. Every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
On the water, not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together. The One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
Welcome back, guys. Man, I hate to be grumpy, but it's like so nice out today. And our fishing trip was just riddled with ice and cold weather, and which was yesterday. Today, it's like 60 degrees outside. Tomorrow, it's going to be sunny and 70 probably. But we wrestled through some pretty tough conditions like always. We're staying at, I don't know if you guys remember this. We've told this story before, but we're staying at the same Airbnb where last year the ice storm attacked us, and we had transformer fires across the street. Rich stole firewood from the neighbors' houses to keep us alive.
We had to stay alive, Pete, and that was the situation.
We appreciate you.
Ice storms and all kinds of crazy weather through the state of Texas. But yeah, no different this year. We woke up to about a balmy 43 degrees of a downpour rain yesterday, but we all got out there. And shout out to the boat drivers, the boat captains that were kind enough to take all of us out on the water yesterday. We appreciate it. It's, even in the worst of the conditions, it's always nice to just get out and fish a little bit. So
I was out with James and Tammy. That was awesome. What an awesome ride. Phoenix. He had hummingbirds all around, and we were using forward-facing sonar a lot. We're fishing amongst the grass, but we'll dive into that a little bit. But a lot of fun. Thanks, James and Tammy. Appreciate you guys taking us out. And then Jocelyn came out with us in the afternoon session. So that was very, very cool. But, man, we went through, a crash course in some really progressive fishing that's going on right now, and learning some things that, after doing this as long as we have, it's so exciting to hear new information that's being shared at Bass University. And there was a lot of it this weekend and last weekend.
There was. And, every year after we get done these seminars, there's takeaways. I bring up buzzwords a lot when it comes to the sport of fishing and how you can learn more in fishing. And when certain things keep coming up as an angler, you have to take note of that, right? Because that's how you stay on top of trends. You know what's coming down the road, and try to keep up with the rapidly changing fishing environment that we deal with as tournament anglers and just fishermen alike. And a few of those things that came up for me, Pete, were keeping the bait above the fish.
Over and over again, we heard that.
Over and over and over, keeping the bait above the fish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now here's the other one. And spinning rod. That spinning rod is a topic. It's a big deal. It's making more of an impact on newer techniques with the technology changes than we've ever seen before. The climate is changing. Man, it's time to embrace it. I'm sure a lot of guys have. You know, it's been a big deal for a long time, but man, it seems like it's becoming an even bigger deal for the functionality of that thing. And this third one might surprise some folks. The third thing that stuck out to me was the importance of multi-species angling and how it can impact your bass fishing. I heard more
That's interesting
references in these seminars to how fishing for other species and everything lines up than I have ever before. So that's the third one that I really took note of. And I don't know how exactly I'm going to implement that one into my game yet or exactly what it means, but those are my three buzzwords from the first 2 weeks of seminars, man. And I mean, there's more. We could go on for hours and hours and hours, but those are my first big three takeaways.
Well, let's dive into this one because I think it's one that really stuck with me, and it's about keeping the bait above the fish. And this is in particular key with using, forward-facing sonar technology, live sonar. And the thing that I heard consistently was that when you allow that bait to drop below the fish will lose interest, get spooked, or a lot of bad stuff happens, right? So that's the reason why you want to keep it up there.
Yeah, it seems to be that way. I mean, now obviously with the advent of forward-facing sonar and how far this technology has come, we're witnessing that live. We're seeing that live. We're seeing the new Demiki style baits and being able to stay in visual contact with our bait and what it's doing under the water in relation to the fish. We're seeing fish behaviors in a completely different way, more than we ever have before. Now, is it stuff we didn't already know? Maybe. I don't know. We've always caught them on a jig. We've always caught them on a shaky head. Mm-hmm. But when you look at a fish, their eyes are more relative to the top of their head than they are looking down below. So it makes sense now that, once you get below that fish's eye line, unless it is keyed in, feeding down, you're probably cutting out your chances of making that fish react by a pretty big margin. So
and to be able to see it and see the fish's reaction to the bait, that's what Mega Live and forward facing does. It allows to see the response, right? So you get immediate feedback when you're doing something wrong. You get the immediate feedback. And when you're doing something right, you get the immediate feedback. And that was that fishing above was a key thing, no matter the tool, right? Whether we're talking about jerk baits, Demiki style baits, which is a big one. Mm-hmm. All those baits are designed to just try to keep it in that zone. Big glides, big swim baits. We talked and learned a lot about those things. So.
Yeah, the way that the keeping the bait above the fish applies, now that flies in the face of what I just said about the spinning rod, because that is not a spinning rod only deal. Mm-hmm. We learned throughout the year that the big jigs, they're still a factor. The big swim baits, they are definitely still a factor. And of course, all your usual suspects, your swim baits, your jerk baits, everything else that you can throw on that big heavy line. But keeping the bait above the fish has really opened our eyes to fishing bigger and more aggressive baits in an open water scenario that we really haven't seen before.
And that we're going to get into that because we had Ben Milliken who talked about big baits exclusively and how he uses them so differently in tournament scenarios versus trophy hunting scenarios.
Yep.
Two completely different applications, which were some pretty eye-opening stuff. South Carolina was great. We had a kid with us, Jay Shakurit, who's just a phenom. I just watched him win Thousand Islands, with over 100 pounds of bass. We put poor Jocelyn through it because
Josh, how many hours of live coverage did you watch this week?
I can't even.
Yeah. We're sorry, Jocelyn.
I blame it on that we can't figure out cable on the TV, so we're just watching Bass live, just repetitively.
We watched live. We watched the Potomac tournament. We watched that entire through. That was an MLF. Mm-hmm. That was a Tackle Warehouse event.
Shout out to Nick Hatfield on the win, bass instructor.
Nicely done. bluegill beds. Then we watched Champlain, and then we were just finished up Thousand Islands last night. So now we're going to go back, I guess, the next year and the year after.
Yeah.
We just keep going. Sorry, Josh.
No.
We did get we put a little football in there too. So we got it. She got her Taylor Swift kick fixed. And I guess you get another hit on that this weekend.
Yeah, we do.
Who did the Chiefs play?
Baltimore Ravens, my adopted AFC team.
Now that you're a Marylander.
Yeah, just kidding. I can't claim the Ravens, but it is cool to have another team to maybe pull for. You know, if the Eagles aren't having a great year, being an AFC team, NFC team, how often are we really going to face in the Super Bowl? But yeah, playing the Ravens, that'll be cool.
Yeah, well, they could put the Chiefs away.
Yeah,
Taylor's going to have to really step it up, Josh.
Gonna have to.
But in the meantime, it's all fishing all the time at the Bass University house. We're sorry. But back to Jay, watching that tournament where they had 4 days of no wind and incredible fishing conditions up there. But and the thing that he taught about in the South Carolina class that was just, it's not a new technique, right? It's moping. It's the Demiki rig. It's that style of fishing. That isn't new. What was really revolutionary to me was how much weight he puts on that technique in everything that he's doing. It's like the go-to. It's not a situational kind of presentation. It's an all the time kind of presentation that he's using in his fishing that shocked me.
Yeah, it really does. And the Canadians and the Minnesotans and the Wisconsins might be getting mad at us right now because we're telling the truth about how impactful this thing really is. But no, Jay did an amazing job in that seminar. And I think one of the key factors with that bait is your ability to adjust the rate of fall, the ability to adjust your bait fish profile and size, and really the ability to make accurate casts and keep it on that forward facing sonar, I think is what makes that thing such a versatile presentation. And like you mentioned, Jay said that it is the most powerful fish catching tool in fishing, bar none than any other. And it's nothing.
It's a bold statement.
It's nothing new. It's nothing, completely groundbreaking, right? Like we saw Jacob Wheeler first break this technique out on Lake Cherokee back, and I think that was 2017 or 18. And he got the win there, but that was before the days of really forward-facing sonar had come to the forefront, and that was straight below the boat vertical drops, which we obviously saw Jeff Gustafson use to win on the Tennessee River twice in the Bassmaster Classic and an Elite Series trophy. And now that we're seeing how impactful that bait is out in front of the boat, my gosh, how many trophies is that bait going to put forth?
We're seeing it over and over again. Here's one really cool tidbit. Jay comes from the co-angling side.
He does.
Of things. He spent a little time, a couple years, I think, as a co. And one of the big, problems that co-anglers are facing, and they're airing it to us all the time, is, man, what am I going to do when my boaters fire, scoping, forward-facing fishing? How do I possibly catch fish that way? And Jay's, comments, or advice is, Demiki, just do it. Just, fish behind the boat, out the side of the boat. Just continue to fish that technique for fish that are suspended up off the bottom, out in the middle of nowhere. You're going to have just as much opportunity to catch them as you would if you were on the bank. And what an insightful way, because guys are pulling their hair out like, what the heck do I do, man? I'm out here in the middle of the lake.
Yeah, it's really a powerful technique, and if there's co-anglers listening, if your boater is forward-facing sonar fishing and he's looking at fish out in front of him, well, there's a good chance that you're around more fish.
You're around the bait. You're around fish.
You're in the system. You're in the habitat. Don't just lay the rods down and think that it's done, because really it's not. It's Demiki's a great way to catch them.
Here's a sneaky little deal, especially when it comes to smallmouth. If you find yourself in one of the smallmouth derbs as a co, that style can actually draw the fish to it. You're going to be pulling fish in, especially when it comes to brown fish. I bet you it's the same for spots too. Largemouth maybe got to land on them a little bit more, but that style will bring fish over to you. And that was phenomenal insight and really eye-opening and enlightening, like exciting as in the co-angler side of the world. Like, hey, wait a minute, I got a guy that's doing this. I'm still in this. I'm in this battle. I've got a good strategy. Go out there and catch them consistently. I love that. Along those same lines, and you brought it up, the importance of a spinning rod. Mm-hmm. And now Joey Fuentes is going to be with us next weekend, but we spent a little time with him at the Berkeley deal where they're releasing their brand new forward-facing sonar baits, the Credge, and what was the name of the other one?
The Credge, the Finisher, and the Power Switch.
Yeah, the Power Switch has been out, but those two we were getting exposed to and watching them work. And but Joey said something that was just mind-boggling to me, that 90% of his fishing and fish catches that he weighs are done with a spinning rod in the Elite Series. Mm-hmm. Blue trophies, coming in. That is because I talked about it when I was just starting out. It was an ego thing. You were embarrassed to be seen with a spinning rod, especially down here in Texas or something like that. You're embarrassed to see. I would hide them because I came from the north where we used them a lot. Now it's overwhelmingly the way to go. He only carries a couple bait casters with him. Yeah. That's mind blowing.
Yeah. I mean, it's still situationally dependent, guys. We're not advising you go flip heavy grass with a spinning rod. We're more so talking about the impact of how the newer trends in technology and fishing are changing the game to where the spinning rod is allowing you to present baits in ways that really we haven't thought of before, more efficient. And the impact that this thing's having is really kind of mind blowing here to see this shift, because the bait caster, the big line, the heavy, that's fun. We all love to do it. But when it comes down to it, really our job as tournament anglers and our goal as recreational fishermen is to catch fish. And really, it shouldn't matter whether your reel face is this way or your reel face is this way. When that fish is in the bucket, it's a success.
Matters to Jake.
Yeah, it's all right.
He's got to be a bait caster.
Jake wants to flip them and jam them. I get it, Jake. Get after that. Learn that bait caster. It's important. They're equally as important.
Yeah, but to see a guy like Joey who was just crushing it and just all in on the finesse stuff, it's pretty powerful stuff. Let's see some other moments that were key. Here's one that was a big deal. Number one, Ben Milliken, awesome to have him with us this weekend, and brought a lot of fans. This class this weekend was amazing. We have people coming in from California, from Chicago, where else? A lot of places in the Midwest. People flying in, driving for long distances, and that's awesome. And then we had a lot of people just from right down the street, from here in Athens, Texas. So we had a lot of a giant crowd, a sellout crowd, which is awesome.
Big time down here, Cowboy headquarters.
Yes, and Ben talked about one of the things that really stuck out to me was his use of the big baits in tournaments versus just lunker hunting. Mm-hmm. The one thing that stuck out is in tournament preparation, that's I'm a tournament guy, throws the big bait last. Interesting, right? He dove into this. It's must see. We're editing all this content. It's all going to be available on Bashu TV shortly. So we're going to get all that out to you. We'll keep you guys posted. Subscribe to the email. Get yourself signed up to Bashu TV. I'm telling you right now, this is all cutting edge stuff. You're not going to want to miss this year. Throws it last. One of his examples that he gives, which was really cool. Like if he's dealing with a brush pile, when you throw a big bait first at the brush pile, what you're going to likely do is you're going to draw those fish out of the habitat. Mm-hmm. You may or may not get the bite, right? With that big bait, the big glide, or the big swim bait. But you're going to draw that fish. You're going to draw that school of fish out, and they're going to, I don't know, some will disperse, and then in order to catch them, you got to wait for them to reset up. This is if you're big fish hunting, that's likely the way you're going to want to go. But as a tournament guy, you're going to want to go in there and you're going to want to be a little bit more surgical about picking off the fish that you need to catch and then throwing the big bait last to try to get that, that bigger fish that won't commit to a shaky head, won't commit to a drop shot or that type of stuff.
Yeah, I think that the thing that we're learning most now as anglers is it's been out for a while, go back to the Southern Trout Eaters videos and all the big bait posse videos. We've known to the drawing power of a big bait, right? But we haven't really put it to work to know how much drawing power can have on groups of fish, right? And one of the things that Ben really drove home and emphasized was that if you throw that big bait into that brush pile first and you don't get that big fish to react, well, you could have very likely brought 5, 6, maybe 7 bass 2/3 of the way back to the boat. And now that all of those fish, they may go back to the brush pile, but it's going to take time for those fish to reset. And that kills them in the sense of a tournament angler in the efficiency factor.
Oh my gosh. You might leave and there's another boat now on your brush pile and you lost the opportunity.
Absolutely. So really the most impactful, moment from that to me is the fact that if you throw a glide bait, there's only so fast that you can bring that bait back to the boat with your retrieve, right? It allows more fish to follow it. Well, if you pitch a shaky head in there and you have your drag set correctly and everything is in tune on your gear, and you set the hook on that fish, well, his buddies may only come out 2 or 3 feet off the brush pile before they realize that something's not right with Bill, and he's now in a live well. Well, those fish that you only brought 2 feet off that brush pile can now reset a lot quicker for you to get back in there. So, that was cool stuff. It kind of, in some senses, flies in the face of what we thought we knew about brush pile fishing. Throw your big bait in there first, follow up with the shaky head. We're seeing different things.
Yeah, he's learned how to use it effectively to qualify for the elites, win a tournament, and we were able to see some great video footage of him executing with big bait strategies.
Cool stuff. Can't wait to release that to
during the tournaments. A lot of guys here's the big difference, I think, between Ben and a lot of big bait specialists that have tried this is Ben has rightfully found out how to be more versatile, how to be more consistent, using it situationally, using it as a tool, and going hard with other more consistent techniques when you have to, and recognizing when that is. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
Is like, knowing when to put it down, knowing when to pick it up, and knowing how long you can afford to make that gamble by throwing that big bait, targeting only big fish. I think that's the big difference in what we're saying, because we've seen it before. Like back in the day, when the California swim bait craze happened, all the trout eating stuff, the hollow-bellied swim baits came out, and I jumped on board with that. So many guys from the West were coming in, and we were a little intimidated by it. We saw their videos, we saw what the fish that they were catching. We're like, oh my gosh, we've got to quickly adapt to be able to compete. And what we found was time and time again is those big fish, big bait specialists failed, tanked, could not consistently catch them when they needed to, you know what I mean, during the tournament time frames, during the pressures of those situations, being those big bait specialists really failed. So Ben's strategy is working much better.
Yeah, it's definitely a different approach. And, like I chimed in there and said, it's a tool, right? You have to know when to pick it up and when to use it. Like, Brian the carpenter is not going to go use a multi-tool on a drill bit. He knows what tool he's going to use to get that job done. And I think that all baits in all different categories, the more that we can look at them for, what are they designed to do? What scenario am I in? And what's the best option for me at this moment? You know, that's where you can start to see it fit into your fishing equation like that. Well, that's when you really got something. And I mean, it's a big learning curve on those things. It really is, not for Ben or some other guys, but maybe, you know, that for the average angler that only can spend maybe 16 hours on the water in a month. That's an intimidating factor. So, you know, definitely tune into those seminars, guys, where there's tidbits, there's key pieces of information that, you know, if you want to get into that realm, you want to learn, okay, you're already getting the A, B, and the C of all of those techniques just by watching a seminar. So it's that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to equip anglers to have more successful experiences on the water.
That one is one that I have to study because I love fishing the big baits, and I want to learn a little bit more there. And his prowess with forward-facing sonar is well known. He was at the forefront of that technology when it was coming out, and that is one other seminar that he has with us that is absolutely must see. And you know what I like about Ben's style? Like, everybody's got a different style. They're, you know, some are more laid back, some are more in your face. Ben's kind of more of an in your face kind of guy, but he comes at it with just a easy to understand approach and an easy to understand thinking about fishing that is relatable. And I think that's why he's so popular, because, you know, you can listen to him convey ideas, and, you know, even a complex thought, he can break it down, make it real simple, and like, oh, I understand how to go about doing that. So really, that was impactful. Save those big baits to last was a big deal. Those are some of my. I'm going to come over to you, Justin. Put you on the hot seat. You were front and center at Athens. By the way, Justin is sitting right here with us. So is Jocelyn, and both did an amazing job with Bass University in the last 2 weekends. It's a team effort to pull this off and bring all this to you guys, as well as our producer extraordinaire, Jeff Olson, who is currently editing these seminars as we speak. So thank you guys for all your help and all your hard work. Justin, I knew you were in the front of the class a lot in Anderson and even a lot here. So what's something that maybe you strikes you, or maybe you're going to try to incorporate this year?
Well, I don't know if everyone can hear me good, but Rich kind of hit the one that I was going to say with the multi-species. Like in Anderson, maybe 3 of the guys brought that up. Lester did. Jay mentioned it. You know, crappie fishing and stuff like that has helped them.
Staying in tune with wildlife.
Staying in tune. Dudley said it too. He doesn't even bass fish when the season's
That's
over.
right. Yeah. What was his comment? Like, I fish 10 days a year for bass if I'm not tournament fishing. That was Dudley's comment.
Yes,
that was crazy.
That was kind of eye-opening, but it makes sense that those guys are like ahead of the curve with forward-facing and stuff, because they're doing it with
multi-species
and stuff like that, using those little tiny baits.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ben's big bait seminar was eye-opening, like what you guys just said, that he's not living and dying by the swim bait. He's using it as a tool when it's the time's right. He knows when that time's right to use it.
And he teaches us what the right times are.
Yeah, so those were probably the 2, and you gave up the juice on Jay with the Nikki rig out of the back of the boat. So I wish you didn't say that.
So he's going to be fishing the co-angler side at the Toyotas with us this year. So sorry about that.
But you gave it up to everyone, so it's all right.
It's all right.
You'll just have to outperform them this year.
I'll try.
Yeah, I think you'll be fine. That was a good one. Cool. That was a good one. Is Dan Allen with us?
He sure is.
And what Dan, I want to know what you thought. You were front and center at Texas in the Texas class.
He said that big bites are so intimidating.
Yeah, big baits.
Big, yeah,
well, big bites too.
Yeah, those too.
Yeah, the big baits are intimidating. You know what I got to fish a little bit with is the new line through the hangover. James had it rigged in the boat, so I was firing that around.
Gotcha. Yeah,
it's a big, heavy bait, man. You just feel like, oh man, double-digit fish. This is the bait.
Yeah, I haven't incorporated that style of swim bait into my game really the way that I should. And Ben talked about that bait. Maddie talked about the mag draft. And the power that those baits have, and they kind of fall when you go with that 6-inch size. They kind of fall in that middle of the ground. Like, it's not a huge bait, but it still has a pretty big profile in the water. Shout out to Justin. Justin committed to that thing one time. We were on a body water up north, and he committed to it, threw it around until he said, I'm not putting it down until he catches one, and he did. And I threw it about 3 times and went back to catching them every other cast on a different bait. So takes a mindset, and apparently I don't have it. So.
It's fun. I love it when I'm firing that big bait. I just love the energy that comes from it.
Yeah.
That you feel like, oh man, it's gonna, if something happens, it's going to be impactful. What else, Dan? The big baits are intimidating. I get it. Maddie Wong. I want to give a shout out to Maddie, and this is all he really did a great job of talking about a lot of different things. His techniques. You talked about the swim baits. His, the Mega Bass. What's it called?
Mag draft.
Mag draft.
He broke down all the Mega Bass swim baits.
I know the Spark Shad.
As a dong. I don't know why I'm not throwing this.
Yeah,
honestly.
They're finessey stuff, but talks about how they make bigger sizes. And a lot of people go to Mega Bass for the finesse stuff, but he, in one of his comments, was that every single pro has the mag draft in their boat, whether they'll tell you or not. Every single one throws that bait because it's a bite getter. And he got asked a question, and I thought this is maybe one of the most powerful moments, because a lot of people listening, maybe aspiring pros. One of the youngsters was asking him some questions about that, and Maddie got real, and he talked about the sacrifice that an angler needs to be prepared for. A person needs to be prepared for to be able to make it, and the steps and and he talked about his journey, and he's still on it. One of the things that I was most impressed, and I was glad to have him with us again this year, was how he overcame adversity this year, because he didn't have a good beginning of the year. He struggled and was trying to find his way, and was up against potentially not requalifying for the elites. And he stepped up and finished so strong that he requalified, and he's able to continue down this path, down this journey. Yep. And that was it's a little bit of a tearjerker, but he got real with the audience, and I love that. You know, so many people can sugarcoat it. Oh, it's the most amazing thing in the world. We're making millions of dollars and blah blah blah. He's straight up like, you better be prepared. This is some serious sacrifice.
Yeah, it is.
You want to make it.
I don't think that gets talked about enough. Just the accomplishment in it of itself of requalifying for the elites or the Bass Pro Tour. I mean, you're going through the gauntlet every week. You're up against some absolute killers of sticks every single time you put your boat in the water. And I like to sing those praises and those accolades a little bit for guys that just are continuing to requalify and keep themselves fishing at a professional level. They may not get the attention of making the classic or hoisting up those blue trophies, but I mean, every single one of them from top to bottom is really out there doing amazing stuff. So shout out to all you guys.
100%. There's a lot to it, man. It's like sponsorship, business. You got to keep your personal life together, and you got to beat the best in the world. Mm-hmm. It's a big ask.
Oh, you're good. Now go fish against Jason Christie.
Yes.
Go fish against Mike. Go fish against Swindle.
Yeah, you got a new sponsor now. Now go catch them in the classic. Good luck. What do you got, Josh?
Coach Prince, which was
Coach. Yes, we saw you in South Carolina.
Coach, my neck is feeling much better.
Thank goodness.
He really enjoyed Shakur's seminar on the Tamiki.
Yes.
And Dan announced that I have attended classes for a few years, and bar none, the best place to learn and get juice from the top anglers in the world. All 6 anglers that spoke spilled juice that you just can't get anywhere else.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you. That, by the way, Dan brings up, but we didn't even discuss it yet. Of course, we are going to have a trivia question. And Dan is the winningest viewer of Bass University Live in the history of Bass U Live. As a matter of fact, he was in the
trivia prize winner AOY. 21, 22, and 23.
He was ROI, AOY, repeat, you know, but he was up in the front, and I was talking about it.
Love to see that up in the front of the classroom, too, locked in the whole time.
Yeah, he said in all the pictures his big head was in all of them.
Yeah.
The price he gets for sitting. So
well, I was asked, you know, I was commenting about all the prizes that he won, and I'm like, he won those glasses, those Hobie glasses that he had on, and he goes, I won the Bass U hat too.
Yeah.
I think everything he was wearing, he won on our show. So
used to be a
pretty
BU
cool.
member.
Yep. So he was. We're going to have a trivia question, or really a question about what we're talking about today. So whoever gets that question correct, we're going to give away some prizes. What are we giving away?
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. Well, we're going to be giving away some Crush City. We've been fishing with some Crush City yesterday, and love their new Crush City baits and some Rapalas. We gave away some DT6s to all of our guys that come to class, and we'll see it again, or a lot of them that we gave away as raffle prizes, but we'll have them again at Shreveport.
Love that BLT.
The BLT, yes. Tell me about the BLT. Talk about Crush City, Justin, on your ride out here, man. You crushed it.
Yeah, the BLT's a sweet little bait. I probably caught over 20 fish on one of those little BLT baits. They hold up pretty well.
That was awesome. Like you were at you stopped at a campground and you just stole a John boat, and what'd you do?
That's essentially what happened. Me and producer / cameraman Jeff Olson, we went on quite a journey last week, and we stopped in Mississippi, and it just happened to have a little private lake in there, and smacked some little largemouth.
Yep. Yeah, you sure did.
Are they scented with like bacon or something?
They should be. Wow, I would eat them. If I got hungry in the boat, those things would be going down.
I don't think anybody's done studies on bacon.
What was that Frito smelling bait?
That was a bellows gill that Alton Jr. brought in from G-Crack. Interesting.
Coffee has been used as
garlic.
Garlic. That's another big one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Bacon. I'm gonna put that out there. Someone make a bacon one.
Up there and add a little bit of bacon grease into those BLTs.
All right, we'll definitely tell them. And shout out, you brought them up, BTC and the After Dark Bass After Dark podcast with Ken Duke. Make sure you guys check that out. So that great events this weekend. Mm-hmm. Let's look forward.
Yeah.
We've got two coming. This weekend is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be back in Shreveport. Haven't been there for a while.
For sure.
Joey Fuentes is going to be there. Ike is going to be there, talking about standing timber fishing, which is so prevalent in this part of the country. And my personal favorite instructor, Greg Hackney, is going to be on site in Shreveport this weekend. So I'm most excited about listening to Greg, because he continues to be successful fishing his style. And I'm interested in how he's using the new technology up in the dirt, grinding with the big flipping stick and crank rod or whatever he's doing. I can't wait to learn that strategy from him. That's what he's going to be talking about.
Yeah, really awesome lineup we have rolling out this week down there in Shreveport. You know, from Greg Hackney to Brock Mosley to Tyler Rivette, and then Sunday we turn the wheel around right again, and we have Mike Iaconelli, Joey Cifuentes, and Derek Hudnell. It's going to be an amazing show. We're working hard on putting together an awesome presentation for everybody right now. It's going to be an amazing week in Shreveport, and I can't wait to get down there and see that part of the country, eat some crawfish maybe, and get this Bass U show back on the road.
Yes, you're missing out.
I'm missing out on crawdaddies, but none of this would be possible without Sarah Nelms, the Director of Sports of Shreveport Sports and Commission.
Awesome, Sarah. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you,
Shout
Sarah.
out Sarah. And
Yes.
And the horse.
you guys have fun listening to Hack and eating crawfish.
Poor Justin, we're in Texas, and he went to go get crawfish, and they didn't.
I know they're out of crawfish.
Unbelievable.
It's not over yet. Trip's not over yet. We got a couple more nights.
Yeah.
Does Tennessee have crawfish?
Maybe you can find a place that will ship some in for you because we will be in Knoxville, Tennessee.
If anybody's watching from Athens, let us know where we can get some crawfish. If you're in the Texas area, we want to get a big plate of crawfish tonight. Let us know.
So it's the East Tennessee Outdoor Show?
Yep, outdoor show.
Okay. We're going to be there. Go stop by and see Justin and say hi. If you're a member of Bass University, we'll make sure you stop and say hi. And of course, we'll be on site. If you want to subscribe, that's a great time to do it. We'll have a great opportunity for you to do that there. So, but we will miss you in Shreveport.
I'll miss you guys too.
And we will miss young Jocelyn this weekend too, because you've got something going on this weekend.
Yeah, so this is our annual Ike Foundation Scholarship Dinner where we put on a fundraiser to raise enough funds to give 5 kids some scholarships to college or university.
Very cool.
So that's where I'll be.
Jake's going to be applying to that scholarship.
Yes.
Is he?
Pretty soon. He's not great. He's not there
Not
yet.
yet.
Soon he will be. What do you got, Justin?
Dr. J said we got to go trap crawfish.
Trap crawfish
Let's look it up.
in Athens?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Hey now.
Dr. J, my man. Dumb man.
Speaking of Dr. J, the Sixers had an unbelievable event
God.
last night. What happened?
I'll let one of the basketball buffs in the room, Justin, chime in on this one more. But yeah,
What?
Joel Embiid dropped 70 on them boys last night. So
What? That's impossible. What happened?
He just dominated that
unbelievable.
that young kid on the Spurs. I don't know how to say his last name correctly, but everyone calls him Wemby. He's taller than Joel Embiid, and it's supposed to be the next Joel Embiid, but Embiid dropped.
And
70.
Joel took that personally.
Yeah, he took that personally, and he dropped 70 on him. So,
Very cool.
yeah.
Joel Embiid loves to bass fish, by the way.
Is that true?
Yep.
What?
In my mind, it is. So it's
I like
watching Joel. You want to come fish? Come on.
I like them better already. So, Dr. J, thank you for that. I guess that's where we're going for lunch or dinner.
That's in Shreveport.
Oh, it's in Shreveport. Oh.
Yeah.
All right, Texas
You
fan,
just-
chime in.
We just broke Justin's heart.
broke his pride again.
Stole his spirit. He's
Oh,
just a
man.
bowl of jello over there
So
now.
the backstory of this, guys, is that Justin and I got to go to the Sabine last year for the Elite Series event. And Justin, that was your first time eating crawfish?
Yeah, real crawfish.
Right, first time eating real crawfish. And man, in our 2 trips to the crawfish house, we polished off 20 pounds of crawfish in total.
That's
And
May or
So-
not be allergic. But.
so ever since, he just can't replicate the taste, and we're gonna try to make it happen.
I was happy. Jocelyn.
Bash You Live featuring
Yeah,
crawfish.
we got the crab legs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was
That's
happy
my
with
good
that.
food.
Yeah, that's good
I'd
stuff.
rather have a crab leg than a little baby crawfish.
I want to. You know why I like eating crawfish? Makes me one with the bass.
That's right.
That's what the bass eat. That's what I eat.
I'm with you. All right. All right.
Problems.
Eat catfish too.
They also eat gizzard shad. I don't see you stepping up for that.
Well, it depends how bad of a slump I get in this year. We're going to eat gizzard shad.
A gizzard shad
Dan
sushi
Allen said,
fry or something.
I'll challenge y'all to eat off on crawfish.
Come on. You're close. Get over there to Shreveport, Dan.
Bring us
Come
some
hang out with us.
crawfish.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be even better. Bring it to the house. All right.
Tickets are still on sale. for
We just got a
Shreveport.
little off the rails there.
Yeah.
we went from crawfish to the NBA back to crawfish, and then we started eating bunker. So.
Well, we will be in Shreveport next weekend. Tickets are still available. Seats are available there for both days, Saturday and Sunday, as they are for Gadsden, Alabama. We're Swindle. G-Man will be in the house. It's been a few seasons since we've had Gerald in the classroom, and
it's exciting.
It is. He's a fan favorite, and really looking forward to having him back in the classroom. And every time you laugh like that, I'm going to say, "What happened?"
Just put up. What did you just put up on the screen?
Pete Cook, he said, "Eat like a bass makes you think like a bass."
I would agree with that.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I love throwing the jig so much, because I love crawfish.
Yes, eat like a bass, fish like a bass, or catch a bass
like a bass. Yeah, I mean, eat like a bass, fish like a bass, think like a bass, catch a bass. As long as it.
We get it. We get it. All right. So I guess we're doing crawfish when we get to Dr. J's part of the country. Very good. Very exciting. That's going, but something else very exciting happened, and I got to witness it personally.
Yes.
Yesterday afternoon, in the freezing cold conditions, we persisted. As a matter of fact, we went out in the morning. I went out with James and Tammy, and the weather was just cold, and we were soaked. Rain gear, bled. We came back here, got hot coffee, and dried out all of our clothes, and went back out for an afternoon session. And Jocelyn, our own Jocelyn Ray, joined us for a fishing trip in the afternoon, and it was a monumental event because someone caught their first bass.
Look at that.
There it is.
How did
So
break it down.
Break it down. How did it happen? What?
We get the ghostwriter version first, and then the Jocelyn version.
Thanks to your amazing teaching, I weathered out the storm and used some of what I learned from Nick LeBrun's lipless cranking seminar and caught my first bass on a lipless.
That's right.
We were fishing a grass edge, and I cast it out there and was ripping the lipless through the grass. One knock slack in the line, and I got him.
Yes.
It was an awesome experience.
That's awesome. Let me see that.
Shout out to Ghostwriter Justin Rock for that excellent story, by the way.
There it is. There's the bait.
Oops, sorry.
That's the bait. There it is.
But I just want to clarify, Jocelyn, she caught that fish, and guys, she was out there in probably 45 degrees,
45,
in a hammering rain. That is not easy. It's tough to get somebody to catch a fish in that condition. And Jocelyn, you got it done. That's a big step. That's awesome.
Well, Pete really did teach me very well how to hold the rod and how to actually cast without casting into.
It's because he's the dean, man.
This road.
Well, I got to give you. You're an excellent study. You're an excellent student. Because on our first cast, we were fishing riprap bridge area, and she attempted to cast over the street on the other side of the riprap.
Love the strategy. Why fish this side when you can fish both sides?
I didn't know my own turn.
Yes.
Hey.
Well, let's show some pictures from your guys' morning out on Lake Athens.
Let's see them.
Start out with Tammy.
Tammy with a nice one. Now, she caught this one on a vibrating jig that had a little chartreuse in it. And Tammy's a hardcore bass angler. She has been doing tournaments with James and by herself for a lot of years. So she did a nice job landing that one.
And of course, the dean had to get in on the action.
I am most proud of this fish. It was the smallest fish we caught, but it was the first fish, and that fish was caught when it was like 30 degrees out at the time.
And it got you on the right pattern.
It did. It did. It hooked us up, and that fish came also on a vibrating jig in more of a shad pattern.
And of course, Jocelyn had a little bit of a mishap. It was her first time out there.
Jocelyn, what's going on here?
So it kept, every time I would cast, it would like flip in the air and get all tangled up because I was using a spinning
rod. Yep.
And so when I kept asking Pete to untangle it for me, so I thought I could try it myself. And I got hooked in probably every hook there was. And I couldn't get it out, and I just turned around and said, Pete.
And immediately, as soon as you asked for help, what did I do?
You took out your phone and took a picture.
That's right. Step one, before help,
pause,
photograph, and then help. Her fingers were all stuck together with that That was awesome.
Do we want to take a quick commercial break and then have Natalie join us right after that?
Yeah,
she's ready.
Looks like she's ready. I do want to comment about Joss's fishing because it was really key. I'm teaching her how to do this, how to reel it. You're going to get it in the grass. You're going to pull it out of the grass. And her persistence was, I think, really apparent. And I think it's one of the most important things in fishing that, maybe you don't think about. But just she was asking me questions. Why is your rod tip down? When you're reeling it in, what are you doing? What are you trying to make the bait do? And she persisted through the heavy rain and through those tough conditions, and you got your first bass.
It lasted more than an hour too.
Yeah,
I'm proud of myself for that.
I was impressed. I really was, because I was cold I think we made a 2.5 hour shift. By the end of it, I was cold all over again. But great fish catch. Once again, thanks to James and Tammy for fishing with us. I'm hopefully see them next year when we come back to Athens, and good luck the rest of your fishing season. And I think they have a tournament at Lake Fork coming up this weekend. Weather should be nice. All right. Yeah. Like and share the feed if you're watching on social. We've got something cool to give to you. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to be talking about real giants that were just caught here in Texas, and talking about the Share Lunker program with Natalie right after this.
The leader in underwater viewing technology. Find what you are looking for. Catch more fish. Have more fun. AquaView. Seeing is believing.
Why do you love casting fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA.
Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick, every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
On the water not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together. The One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
Welcome back, guys. Appreciate you putting up with our outdoor shoot. I like our fish, Riz.
Yeah,
this is kind of.
This actually came together all right. I mean, everybody on the board saying the audio's okay.
Yeah,
it's cool.
They're more so saying, Riz, what would you be drinking?
It's Gatorade and water mixed right now. Actually, getting a little dried out. It is looking suspect in a red soda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gatorade and water.
That's what we
just
thought.
Just like Pete's coffee.
Well, we thought that's what Jocelyn didn't make the early session fishing yesterday because I think she was getting mimosas at the local restaurant.
I wish.
Can't blame her.
That's how I stayed warm for 2 hours.
That's right. That's right. Well, we appreciate all
looking
you.
at this fish. It's about the size of the one Natalie probably went and picked up yesterday.
That's the truth.
Size. Good gosh. I mean, the way they grow them down here in Texas is just unbelievable. And honestly, the TFFC and all the work that they're doing over there, right at the fishery center, right up the road, we've seen it. It's amazing the processes that they're using to genetically track these giant fish from mother down to lineage to fish getting caught in between. And the proof is in the pudding, I would say, Pete. It's working. So
it's definitely working. And is Natalie ready? All right, there she is.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. There is Miss Sherlunker. She runs the program over there. And you had a long night, Natalie. What happened?
Yeah, so yesterday, got a call about 4 o'clock from Lane Olson, and he called to tell me that he had a Sherlunker bass, that his fish was weighed in at a certified scale at 13.26 pounds.
Wow.
So I immediately deployed our response team. I called our office over in San Angelo. They're our management crew that oversees the management of OHIV, where the fish was caught. And I asked them if they wouldn't help me out and go and pick up that bass for us. Our Sherlunker team that's stationed at the Texas Freshwater Fisheries Center got together. We got in our Toyota Tundra to go pick up that fish, and about 5:15, 5:30, we got another phone call. This one was from Bobby Walden, and he had caught a 14.75 pound Sherlunker, also at OHIV.
Wow.
Coincidentally, both anglers went to Elm Creek Marina to get their fish weighed in, which is one of our weigh station locations for the Sherlunker program. They have a place to hold Sherlunker bass, and they also have a place to weigh them. And so when San Angelo arrived at the reservoir, they were able to pick up both Sherlunkers. We were able to do a transfer over in Gulfway, Texas, and our Sherlunker team brought them back in, got them settled in the lunker bunker, and I headed home about 3 a.m. last night, or this morning.
Smokes. Yeah, that's
amazing commitment to bass fishing.
Dedication.
It certainly is. Yeah. Hauling over 28 pounds of bass. It's a pretty exciting night.
That is very exciting. For people that don't know what a Sherlunker is, I mean, you said 13 pounds. That's the threshold. For people from other parts of the country that don't know. Tell them what a Sherlunker is.
For those that don't know about the Sherlunker program, it's a program designed to make bigger, better bass in the state of Texas. And it was started 38 years ago. And it was a program that if an angler that was fishing Texas water catches the 13-pound bass, they can call Texas Parks and Wildlife. Someone from the agency would come and pick up your fish. We bring it to the hatchery, and we would try to spawn her, and we would pair up with a male descendant of another Sherlunker bass. So those offspring should have the best genetic makeup possible and be able to grow to also 13 pounds or bigger. And those offspring are restocked back out into the reservoirs that produce those 13-pound bass.
That's amazing. You guys are at the cutting edge of this, and the fisheries in Texas are amazing. Tom was telling us during the event how many Sherlunkers have broken records at 5 different lakes in Texas.
Oh, more than that. That was just from Sherlunker number 9. We have genetic connections, and we can track our Sherlunkers. We know whether or not they've been recaptured. We know if their parent or grandparent's a Sherlunker, if they have another relationship that's a Sherlunker. And we actually looked at the family tree of Sherlunker number 9, and there's like 5 or 6 different lake records that were produced from her lineage. So that's pretty exciting. That's just one bass. That's one angler trusting Texas Parks and Wildlife with their fish and sharing her with us so that we can spawn her and stock those offspring back out and make the best lunker bass fishing here in the state.
That's amazing. What happens next? Like we're going to spawn these giants and restock their lineage, at a variety of lakes. What happens to the female once she's done spawning at your facility?
So I'm sure your viewers know that these big, beautiful bass that we're taking in that are 13 pounds or heavier, those are all female bass. And we actually let the angler decide what happens to her next. It's their fish, it's their choice. They can either share it with Parks and Wildlife for the duration, or they can request to have that fish back. And I'll work with them along with our management team, and we'll all go out together and restock that fish back into the reservoir that it was caught from.
That's awesome. And they get stuff, like they get prizes. If you decide to enter your fit or give your fish to the ShareLunker program or loan it to the ShareLunker program, what do they get?
Right. So if you happen to catch one of those big, beautiful bass, you get several prizes. We invite you to a legacy class, which are what we call those 13-pound bass. We have a banquet and we celebrate you and your catch, and you get to meet all the other folks that work so hard from Texas Parks and Wildlife to make those fisheries great. Also our industry partners that help us kind of advertise the program and incentivize the program as well. So those anglers, they'll get some branded AFCO gear like this shirt here. They are also going to get a replica of their fish from Lake Fork Taxidermy. This year, one of our generous sponsors is Bass University. And so they're going to contribute a 1-year membership to Bass University and a swag bag there. And there's going to be other prizes as well. Bass Pro Shops partners with us. And so all those legacy class anglers, they'll get one shot, or depending on how many fish they contribute in a season, they get a shot at winning a $5,000 Bass Pro Shop shopping spree. And your odds are going to depend on how many fish are entered into the program. If we were going to end the season today, we have 3 fish in the lunker bunker, so you get a 1 in 3 shot. Who knows how many fish will be entered in this season?
Well, with Bass University in town this week, I think we'll probably see many more coming in. We seem to bring the good luck.
Yeah. Last time that you were here, right in the middle of class, I got a phone call, and the entire class got to see the Texas, the Toyota ShareLunker truck roll out to go pick up that bass.
That was awesome.
So I do think that y'all are some good luck.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, during one of the talks during the class, we were talking about the barometric pressure and that there was a change and that there was a slight dip in it that was coming up in the next few days. And folks in the room were thinking that maybe this is the time. You get those overcast days, the change in barometric pressure, and folks were thinking that there could be ShareLunker bass caught in the next couple of days. And don't you know, we got 2.
That's amazing. You know, and it's consistent. Like we've talked about this, the nastier the weather, the worst, the most horrible conditions where everybody runs for shelter, that if you want to catch a giant, your stats are saying that's probably the best possible condition to catch a big bass.
We haven't put signs to it, but I know that windshield wipers were going on a lot of our ShareLunker runs, and that we've had to get the ice scraper out to go pick up fish too. So
yes,
there are also those big, beautiful bluebird sky days where they're caught as well. But the ones that are most memorable are those nasty weather where everybody's guides are freezing up, and for some reason, that's when ShareLunkers are getting caught.
Well, we had a very eventful catch by our own Miss Jocelyn yesterday.
I heard. I saw the photo.
I'm just very sad that you guys don't accept those 3-pounders.
I think we should. I think we ought to have a special lunker bunker just for Jocelyn's first bass.
Well, you know what? We have an angler recognition program here at Texas Parks and Wildlife, and it could be an outstanding catch. Your very first largemouth bass caught, you could submit it to the angler recognition program, and we'd send you a certificate of achievement to commemorate this grand event.
we've already got a ghostwriter to write the story. So we're
Oh, that's great. That's terrific.
So are you hooked on fishing, on largemouth bass fishing now?
Yeah.
I think we unhooked her because we made her endure like countless hours of live tournament coverage since we've been here in Texas. So just about the time she liked it, I don't know if she likes it anymore. But we talked about the program, and you all of our students got a little envelope because 13 pounders, that's the legacy class fish. That's the big gun, right? That's the Super Bowl kind of thing. But if you catch a fish that it's 24 inches or 8 pounds, 24 inches or longer, 8 pounds or better, you still would like to get a submission from that angler.
Right. So we don't take those 8-pounders back for spawning purposes. We still leave that bar really high at those 13-pounders. But in 2018, we actually expanded the program. We were getting some really great information on the largest fish that are in our reservoirs, those 13 pounds and better. But we were really missing those 8 to 13 pounder and getting information on them. We knew our tournament anglers were going out there and targeting them, but our sampling gear, it just doesn't sample them in the proportion that they're out there in the population. So we're really relying on our anglers to help fill in that data gap on these lunker bass that are turning into these 13 pounders. It's going to help our management biologists figure out what they can be doing management wise to make that fishery even better for our anglers. And so they can take a couple pictures of their fish when they catch it, if it's 8 pounds or better. Or 24 inches. If it's 24 inches or longer, you take a picture of the entire fish on a measuring device. And then if you have a fish that's 8 pounds or heavier, you take a picture of the entire fish on the scale so that you can see the scale readout all the way down to the fish's tail. And we understand if you're usually a solo angler, that's really hard to do. So we recommend that if you are by yourself, take a video, scan from that scale from the very top all the way down to that fish's body. And you can actually email that in and we can get that added onto your application. So we're requesting people to just share information about those share lunker bass. But one thing that we have been doing is requesting that our anglers that have lunker bass send in that genetic sample. So you take about 30 seconds or less to take 3 scales off your fish anywhere along the body. It's not going to hurt them. It's not going to cause them long-term issues. And you send them into our geneticist. Everything that we can tell on these 13-pound bass for genetics, we can also tell on the 8-pound bass on their scale samples. We know if they're recaptured. We know if there's a mother share lunker or grandmother, or some kind of other relationship that's out there with them as well. So that's all really exciting and entertaining. And this information is so important to us. We're actually incentivizing anglers to send in genetic samples. So even if you don't have one of our special share lunker scale envelopes, that's okay. You can use whatever envelope that you have and mail them in. All we request is 3 scales. You dry them out, put them somewhere dry. Don't put them in a plastic bag because they'll get some fungus on them. And then you just put them in an envelope and you send them off to our genetics lab. And you'll get a 3-month subscription to Bass University. And we have a limited supply of $200 loose bait casting reels, 1 per angler as supplies last. So this information is important to us, and I hope the anglers will share it, and we're helping to incentivize it so that we increase that number.
It's cool stuff, man. It's really interesting to see how, DNA and science, and really it sounds like I'm watching like the Forensic Files show, but bass fishing, that's there's always value in research. There's always value in data, and the folks at TFFC are doing it to make better fisheries in the state of Texas. It's important.
It's working. The people in class, I was telling them, you're fortunate that you're in an area. Most people are from Texas that were there, not all, but most. And they when they put their boat in the water, everywhere they are, they have a chance to catch a double-digit bass.
We have over 170 reservoirs throughout the state that's produced at least an 8-pounder or better. So there's a lot of opportunity. You don't necessarily have to go to one of those top 10 hottest lakes. There's going to be a chance in most reservoirs throughout the state that you can catch your PB bass.
I want to make a request, Natalie.
Yeah.
I want fishing data on these 8-pound and up and 13-pound and up fish. I want to know drop shots, swim bait, water conditions. I want to know those details. How do you have those in your computer? Can we like hack into your computer and get those results?
We have some of that information. It's one of those optional fields. Mm-hmm. So anglers don't necessarily have to share what they were fishing with. They don't have to say exactly where they were, if they were main lake or on a point or a secondary point in the reservoir. We give them the option to share that, but it's not required. So it kind of gives us a glimpse, but is it true information to say, if 20% of our anglers tell us they're fishing on this, but probably only 50% are actually filling out that category? I don't know, but it does tell us like what these big bass are biting, and the things that you mentioned, the drop shot, Texas rig, creature baits, Carolina rigs, umbrella rigs, swim jigs, they're all catching ShareLunker bass.
Wow. Did anyone stand out? Like, is it do you have that data? Like more caught on a drop shot, or do you have any of that?
We do, but we usually don't share it just because it's not complete information.
Okay. We got to go get that information, Rich. It's over there. We know where your facility is.
Right. And a lot of times, so we usually write press releases on all these big fish that are coming in. Okay. And usually when our press office reaches out to the angler, that is one of the questions that they ask them. So in a lot of our press releases, that information's out there. It tells what the anglers were catching them on. Some of them we even provide additional detail about what they were doing or what they were throwing earlier in the day that wasn't working and that they changed over to something else. So the information's out there if you want to go look for it.
Excellent. Well, we're thrilled to be part of what you guys are doing here, and Bass University is really thrilled to be partners. We had a wonderful event this past weekend, and we look forward to coming back next year. And guys, look for that to happen. And we're also going to be doing some filming because I'm going to learn how to collect scale samples tomorrow, and we're looking forward to filming that and making that available for people that want to make a submission on exactly how to do it and how to do it safely so it doesn't hurt the fish in any way. And I look forward to learning that skill tomorrow.
Right. When we were kind of making this push for more genetic samples, that was exactly what people were asking. They were wanting a resource where they could watch someone else do it so that they were doing it right and that we were getting the data that we needed. And so we really appreciate the partnership when people have the ability to make these videos to help get that information out there just that much faster. Yep. So we really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we'll end up with some big bass, but
yeah, we've got to get a few fish caught so that we have a good sample to take. Well, I'm going to leave you in charge of that. I know our Justin over here is chomping at the bit to be the one to try to catch them, but we got to send him to Tennessee. Natalie, it's awesome. Thanks so much for coming on and being with us today and sharing that information. And I imagine you need some rest.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go home and take a nap, rest up for that next ShareLunker. You never know when that next call is going to be coming in.
Yep. Awesome stuff. Well, we're here, so it's likely going to be today. Yeah.
Perfect. That would be great because
that's a different story.
Yeah, we need to go out and get ourselves some fish caught, but we're going to try to do that. Thanks so much. Thanks to you and Tom and Katie for helping our event be so special and successful this weekend. And I will see you tomorrow.
Always a pleasure, and thanks for giving our anglers the knowledge that they need so that they can go out there and catch those big bass, and giving me an opportunity that when they do land those share lunkers, what to do with them, and why their information is important to Texas Parks and Wildlife, and why they should share it.
That's awesome. And we want to encourage everybody that's fishing here in Texas to participate in this program. It's gonna benefit your fishery and your future fishing for sure. So make sure you take advantage of that. Thank you, Natalie. Thanks for being with us, and we'll catch up with you real soon.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll see you now. I wanted to ask you, Justin, can you get that video up that you shot of the Goliath giant bass that we filmed? Okay, stand by. We because over there, this is so awesome. They have the Lunker Bunker facility, and you heard her mention it. But these 13-pounders get put in a tank, and then they get spawned with other share lunker fish, and and they release these fingerlings. They stock them in all public lakes. Just such a great program. They're setting the pace, Yeah,
they are. They're leading, not even setting the pace, leading the charge, out in front of the pace, out in front of the charge. Now, I know other states are doing it, and they have some emphasis on it, but really Texas is far out in front, and you're seeing the results. I mean, these fish, these gigantic Texas bass, just keep hitting the scales. It's no surprise. It's no secret. Kudos to them. It's really, really important. I wish more states would get on board with it.
I know. Well, I think a lot of people are watching, and a lot of states are doing great work, but it's just really an interesting program, and they're doing a heck of a nice job. We're glad at Bass University partnered with it. You think, Justin, we can put it up on social. We don't have to get it up right now if it's going to take him more. He's got his finger up like he's going to be able to do it. In the meantime, we are going to want to take a quick commercial break because we're going to come back and give away a few items. So you got something, Johnson?
No.
You were looking at me like you had something to say. You wanted to do a quick break right now? Set us up with a commercial break, Justin. We're going to be back, give away some prizes. And how we do it real quick, and I know a lot of you guys know it, we're going to type that question into the chat board, and that's where the question is going to come. Then we're going to read it. Whoever gets the correct answer first wins the prize. So we'll be right back to do that after this.
The leader in underwater viewing technology. Find what you are looking for. Catch more fish. Have more fun. AquaView. Seeing is believing.
Why do you love casting fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA.
Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick, every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out doing a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
On the water, not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together. The One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
Hey guys, welcome back. Really fun being here in Texas, and it's all about big fish. And this was really cool because right now the Texas Freshwater Fishery Center is under renovation, but we got a little peek behind the scenes, Justin, and Just let's take a video of what you saw. Look at the size of that fish. How big was that fish?
Natalie said it was around the 17-pound mark in that video right there.
17 pounds.
17 younger.
Can you imagine?
No.
Can you imagine looking down with getting ready to lip a 17-pounder? What that must be like.
No. Can't. I mean,
can't even imagine.
I
appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean,
it must look like it's as big as your boat. You know, with an eyeball, just
big as this table,
this
probably.
big, you know,
and like length and half the width. I mean, goodness gracious.
I notice whenever I get into a fish that's
probably
like
so easy to grab. I mean, there's so much fish. I mean, it's like you try to lip a 3-pounder, you don't have that much real estate.
His jaw's probably that
17-pounder. It's like this big around.
I notice the bigger the fish gets, like when you start getting over 6 pounds, you start seeing the white of the eye.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you see that coming up, if you can see the white of the eye, it's pretty big fish. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. All right. Last chance to like and share over on social, and we're going to be giving away a prize. Justin, are you ready for the question?
Yep. The question is, what did our very own Jocelyn catch her first bass ever on? What was it for?
As I secretly just covered it up on the table here, that is easily viewed on the podcast. All right. I imagine this is going to be quick.
Howie Range.
Howie Range. Let's go. Howie.
What's up, Howie?
You get a lipless crankbait along brass bed with spinning rod.
Nailed it. Got the whole
nailed it.
Getting caboodle in there.
Well done,
Howie.
Well done, guys. Man, we're going to be all over. We're going to be at Shreveport this weekend. We're going to be in Tennessee. We're going to be back on the live show on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So look for us there. What do you got, Rich?
Guys, this is kind of our first true remote live, Tuesday live.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we've done them a little bit on the road. And as a lot of you guys know, we're going to be traveling the Toyotas this year as a group. Man, let us know. Shoot us some feedback on either the socials or emails, whatever. Like if you want to see us do this more when we're out on the road and you have, maybe certain types of stuff you want to see, let us know. We like going live, like keeping active with you guys. So keep in touch with us, man. And we're going to try to keep doing this.
Yeah, there it is, right there. I look forward to fishing the Toyotas. Yeah. It's going to be fun. We're going to chronicle that whole experience video through the live show on social. So look for that. Thanks for hanging out with us today, guys. And hope your fishing goes well. We're going to go try to catch a share lunker. Have a great day, everybody.
Let's go! Woo! Ooh, I love it.
Let's go. I think we should catch more.
Let's go!
She got it good too. T-boned it.
Let's go! I love it. Cheers.
Let's go.
Hey guys, we're back. A little bit of live after live, staying live. A couple things that you got to know. Head over to Tackle Direct right now. They got an awesome sale going on AquaView cameras. It is the best way to solidify what you're looking at under the water with AquaView technology. You can see what is below. And then also, guys, Cortland line. It is the time of year you got to start spooling up your reels. Got to get ready for the season. Check out Cortland line. It's the smoothest, strongest spinning line on the market. It's braided fishing line, Joss.
We also have our like and share winner.
And we have a like and share winner as well. Bill Wassman.
Bill, shout out Bill.
Shout out Bill. I think now we're really
roll out to the one and only.
Really gonna shut it in.
Hack dog.
Hack dog.
That's just always a stuff that needs a little extra time. You know what I mean? Because it just has a tendency to isolate those fish. They like stuff that's different too. You know what I mean? Like everything looks exactly the same, even though the bottom is the same. Like it's flat as a pancake out here. So you're always looking for something different. That's the biggest complaint I hear about guys who go to Florida the first time or go to Okeechobee. They're like, it all looks the same, but it doesn't, you know. Now see that fish, I think is a female. Looks healthy, but let's make sure she doesn't have a big old tail sticking out of her mouth.